Starbucks. I love Starbucks. It's expensive, but I love it. So I'm in there, and there's this kid. Looks like your typical, young kind of stoner kid. And I have nothing wrong with stoners. Don't get me, like I hate stoners. I think they're great because they work. They don't bother anybody. They smoke. They contribute. So stoners don't bother me whatsoever. But what I did think was funny, and why I thought it was worth mentioning, was when I was a teenager, all my friends did whippets. I don't know why, it was hugely popular. I used to watch them do it, and they do some whippets, and then they'd pass out. So this kid is sitting there, and when you get the whipped cream on top, that's not Cool Whip, the whipped cream on top, what they do is they have this little whippet container canister, and they put these things on, and he's changing them, and he's giggling while he's changing them. So first thing popped in my mind, I wonder if they're on break, and they sit there and crack open a couple of those fucking things and, pop them open while they're at work. Oh, man. Anyway, the point of this whole thing was tipping at Starbucks. Now, I believe if you do a good service of some sort in your job, you should get a tip, right? It's usually how stuff works. But keep in mind, they get a paycheck. Now, tipping is not required. They're not bringing me dinner to my table. They're not, taking my order other than pushing in a couple things in the keyboard. So I don't know. I don't tip that often at Starbucks. I really don't. I don't feel it as necessary as if I was sitting down to a nice restaurant and, Jared, my waiter, comes up and is like, "How are you doing?" and keeps my drinks full and, doesn't bother me too much, but does his job as a service. I come up there, I order my drink, you type in a couple buttons, and then you walk away. But the thing is, I noticed, as when you do, I don't carry cash very often. So when I do carry cash, I have, it's not a whole lot. But I take all of my change and I put it in a change jar at the house for the kids. So that way when it gets full, the kids can go and do something, or I can take them out and do something as, daddy-daughter time. I take her to go get her feet done. And I get my feet done too, that's a whole other subject, but it is phenomenal to get a pedicure. I don't care what anyone thinks. I sit in there and someone rubs my feet for a half hour, 45 minutes. It's fantastic. But then I'll take my son out to the dirt bike track. We'll go ride. I just don't think that tipping is that big of a deal at a place like a Starbucks or something. We don't tip at McDonald's. It's basically the same thing. But they always look at you funny if you take the last bit of change back, or you get a couple dollars back, and they're like, "Oh." I feel like they're always like, "Well, you should put it in the tip jar." I don't agree with that. I don't believe in putting it in the tip jar. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys tip. Maybe I'm just an a-hole. I don't know. I tip at places I feel like it's deserved. Do I tip at Starbucks? Not very often. So, not really, no. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you tip, or if you don't tip, or what you even think about Starbucks. Everybody loves it. It's great. So, well, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.